Hey, welcome to 24 Chambers of Film. Today we got another trailer reaction to the teaser trailer for the new Superman film, directed by James Gunn. If you don't know who James Gunn is, he did Guardians of the Galaxy, Slither, Super, plenty of great films in my opinion. The Suicide Squad one, the newest one, the better one in my opinion. And yeah, it's the Superman will be the launch of the new DC universe that James Gunn is actually in charge of and managing, but he's directing this Superman movie and wrote the script. Before we get into it, what are your thoughts on Superman, Nate, and James Gunn? How about that? Let's hear
Look,
that.
first things first. The best Superman ever was Christopher Reeves. It's
I
going
mean,
to be
I
hard
agree.
for that. It's
I
going to be
agree.
hard for that man to be top. I feel like Cavill was a good Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, I liked him.
I feel like the one thing that bothers me about DC is there's so much turnover all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of that personally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know anything else other than it's a new Superman. So
Yeah.
I'm going into this with no preconceived notion. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm hoping that makes me want to enjoy this one a lot
Did you
more.
like his the Suicide Squad, the one that
I
he did?
haven't seen the one that has Idris Elba, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Oh,
I've only seen
okay.
the first one,
So,
so I can't
and have
speak
you
on that.
seen any of James Gunn's other films before he went to Marvel? Like, did you see Slither?
Yeah, and then I saw Super as well,
Super, yeah, with
and they
Rainn
were good.
Wilson.
Like they were good. I mean, I like Super, and then
Yeah, Super was
Slither
great,
was
I thought.
fine. But I just again, I like James Gunn's movies for the most part, so
Yeah. I guess let
can't
me
say
rephrase.
anything.
What do you think of the character of Superman? Like, that's what I wanted. Like, how do you feel about
Oh,
Superman?
I mean, I understand why he's iconic. I think the stupidest thing is you can't tell it's him when he wears fucking glasses. Other than that, like it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
That's just dumb. But I thought those Man of Steel movies that they made with Cavill were good.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I don't. I'm trying to think. I don't really watch the TV shows like Smallville and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff,
me
so I
neither,
can't
yeah.
speak on those. I know they had. I did watch a little bit of the one with God, what's the guy?
Dean Cain?
Dean Cain.
Yeah.
I think it was Lois and Superman or
Lois and
something like that. What it was
Superman. I
called.
used to watch that one too. I like that one. But yeah.
Yeah, and Dean Cain was a good Superman
He
too.
was,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah, I don't know. I have nothing against Superman. He's not my favorite superhero.
Mm-hmm.
I'm neutral
Yeah.
on him.
Okay. I was just wondering, I wasn't sure where you stood on him as a character. I really like Superman. He's always been one of my favorite. I loved watching the animated series, the Superman animated series. I was a big fan of that one. I think he's just iconic, and yeah, I agree too with the whole glasses thing. You know, it's one of the things that you kind of have to besides that he's an alien and flies around, that's one of the probably the most you got to suspend your disbelief that no one's going to recognize that's Clark Kent. I guess it's kind of more of a metaphor from what I hear. It's like, oh, just like, he acts, his persona is so weak and, as Clark Kent that people overlook him. But at the end of the day, it's a little ridiculous, obviously. So let's get into this trailer and then we can, share our thoughts. You ready?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, that's a nice shot. I'm a fan that he has the underwear back. I'm a fan. I think.
I didn't even realize it was gone in the previous ones till you just pointed out.
Yeah.
I don't like how this guy looks though.
David Corenswet is, I'm pretty sure, his name. He's from Pearl, the movie Pearl.
Oh, I actually haven't seen Pearl. Oh wait, no, you mean Pearl with
Mia Goth.
Equal to yeah, okay, never mind, yeah.
Lois Lane.
She looks familiar, but I can't pinpoint where she's from.
I like the interpretation of the original Superman song. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Crypto?
Home. Take me home.
That is a total James Gunn shot right there from like Guardians.
Yeah. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor.
Even like all this is like Guardian style. Like it just has that vibe.
Superman.
I don't know how I feel about that guy as Lex Luthor though.
Mr. Terrific. All right. How many views does this have? This 15 million already.
Probably a
Jesus.
ton already. Like this is probably one of the most anticipated movies of next year.
15 million it has already. All right. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So yeah, I mean, look, like I said, I'm a fan of James Gunn. I like Guardians films. I like pretty much all his films that he's done. And when I heard about this Superman movie, I was kind of like, I'm going to check it out. Probably I'm going to wait till the teaser trailer, but I was kind of feeling pretty good about him being in charge of directing it. And I like his take, I like the guy that they casted as Superman. He looks good as Superman, in my opinion. As Superman, his Clark Kent hair is a little wild, That's a little different. He's usually kind of more proper hairstyle as Clark Kent, but it kind of makes sense. Give him a kind of a crazy hairstyle, so when he does look like Superman, he's more clean cut. Just even though like you still can get, you still be able to figure out that it's him. But I think I can get past that. His suit, I actually really dig. I like that there's texture. I like that it's lighter. It kind of has more of the throwback to the Christopher Reeves kind of mixed with the Henry Cavill suit a little bit. I like that they brought back the underwear, that they went for it. I like the S on the back of the cape, which is also Christopher Reeves like. I'm not real. The thing about the suit that bugs me a little bit is it's not like a circle around his wrist. There's like a little bit of like a it's a minor thing, but I kind of wish it was just completely circular around his wrist. But other than that, he looks great. I think the actor did great in Pearl. You haven't seen it, so you're not really familiar with him. But he kind of has a similar, like he looks like he could be Henry Cavill's little brother or something, in my opinion, in a way, like in a little bit. Like
it looks like he could be Henry Cavill's nerdier little brother.
I think he looks like a good Superman, and even as Clark. But the girl who plays Lois Lane, she's from this show, like The Marvelous Mrs. Mandel or something like that. I forgot. It's on Amazon show. But yeah, like I said, filmed on an IMAX, shot on film, IMAX film, which is cool, which is a plus. It looks good. Like even though there's CGI, it looks like they did put an effort to implement like real stuff in there. It's a Superman movie and you're dealing with aliens and other powerful, there's going to be CGI, but the CGI looks good. Like it looks like in the Guardians films, like he had good CGI, I can get past it if the CGI is done well. And it's also not all CGI, the sky is not all CGI. Like they're shooting in the actual locations and stuff. I didn't realize that you didn't really, I don't know if you got to see him, but Superman's dad is being played by that fool Vince Taylor. What's his name? He's the guy from Identity. No, the guy from Identity.
Who's the guy, the serial killer.
What's his name again? Vince something. But he's a great actor. He's underrated. But he's always delivers. But it looks like he's playing Superman's dad, which is cool. I mean, I'm totally down with that. So that's cool. But visually, it looks very
Pruitt Taylor Vince.
That's what it is. But visually, it looks nice. It looks very stunning. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. What do you think?
I think it looks interesting. Mm-hmm. I don't. As far as the guy that plays Superman, I think I just got too used to Henry Cavill. Mm-hmm. Like I felt like Henry.
Yeah.
I feel like Henry Cavill had the look of Christopher Reeves. Like his face resembled it a lot more. This guy, his face seems like Christopher Reeves when he was serious. Like he looked menacing.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Cavill, the same thing, big chiseled jaw. This guy, when when I'm looking at him, I mean, he hasn't stood in front of the camera and like looked angry. Like I didn't see that in this trailer, so I don't know. But just from looking at his face, it doesn't have the same presence as it did with them two. So again, I'm not going to say that he's not going to do a good job because you don't know. But just off of looking at it, I'm not convinced that he's an upgrade or even like transfer to Superman.
Like he's an upgrade from. He's not an upgrade or at least the same level as Cavill.
I do think, and I know nothing about the girl that's playing Lois Lane, but I do think, to me at least,
she looks like a good Lois.
She resembles Lois Lane more than what was the girl
Amy
that played her in the previous? Amy Adams. Yeah. She reminds me a little bit more of the girl that played her in the original Supermans. I don't remember the name.
Margaret Kidder.
Yeah, she just has more of that like style. I'm not saying she's like the perfect Lois Lane because again, to me, in my mind, she is Lois Lane, Margaret Kidder, but I think to me, she's going to be. She looks more like what I picture Lois Lane as.
It fits the Amy look Adams better. Did. Yeah, I would agree
Lex Luthor
with that.
is where
Nicholas Hoult. Yeah, bro.
I feel like his face is so he stands out because he has very unique looking eyes. You know, like. It's like he's a
little bit alien. He has like a like a little bit of like a like.
Yes, you know what it reminded me of? Remember that show from the 90s?
I kind of wish he was more. Go ahead.
The alien. Remember that show from the 90s where the aliens are living amongst the human Alien Nation? I think it was called or something.
Oh, I don't think I've seen it. No.
He reminded me of one of the.
Right?
No. It's like a serious.
Oh no, I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. It was like a serious show. I want to say it was called Alien Nation. I'll send you. Just Google Alien Nation and then go to images. I don't know why. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw him.
All right, let me
Alien.
see.
It's Alien Nation. Yeah, just put Alien Nation show and then go to images, and then you're gonna see what they look like. And I don't know why. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw him.
Oh my god! Yeah, I get. Wow, dude. I know of this show now, but yeah, okay, that's. I see what you're saying.
You know, like his head looks
his bald head. Yeah. And look, Nicholas Hoult. I think he's a solid actor. I think he's overall a good actor. I'm positive on him. And you know what? Jesse Eisenberg played Lex Luthor in the previous films, and I wasn't crazy about it.
I wasn't either, but I feel like at least looks wise, I'd rather have Jesse Eisenberg over him.
To me, you know, Gene Hackman's still the best. Lex Luthor.
Gene Hackman's the OG.
Even the Superman Returns film, which actually Brandon Roth, who played Superman, was the closest to Christopher Reeves in my opinion, look wise. The 2006 one. To me, he was the closest that we ever got back to Christopher Reeves, which was kind of amazing. I thought he was good too, but Lex Luthor was also played by Kevin Spacey, which I thought he was a good Lex Luthor. I kind of prefer Lex Luthor as an older guy than Superman, not around the same age as Superman. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And you know, Smallville did the whole thing where they're in high school together and stuff like that. I prefer Lex Luthor being an older person compared to Superman, and looks like they went again back to what it was with Jesse Eisenberg, a guy who's around the same age as Superman or looks the same age. I'm not crazy about Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, but I'm sure he seems kind of interesting in the trailer, him holding that gun. I don't know, there's something kind of interesting about it. I hope I'm wrong and his performance turns me over completely, that I'm like, okay, I can get past it. You know, there's going to be more incarnations in the future of another Superman with different actors playing the characters. I hope they go back to an older Lex Luthor. I kind of really like the Lex Luthor, the way he looks in the animated series, which is essentially like more of like a black Lex Luthor. I don't know if you remember the animated series, how he looked like.
Yeah.
I want that Lex Luthor was always like a cool presence, and it'd be cool if they do that type of look for a future Lex Luthor. So I'd be interested in that, you know. But anyways, like I said, I'll be there day one to watch it. As far just from that teaser trailer, I'm in. I like Superman. I think he gets overhated at times, but I think he's a complicated superhero that because of his morals, he gets put in tough situations, you know? But yeah, I'm in. I'm down.
The one thing that I have that I'm kind of questioning in this is traditionally to me, Superman
Good.
movies.
I want to ask you about something. Go ahead.
Okay. Traditionally to me, Superman movies have always been serious. Like there's no
Mm-hmm.
even though some of them maybe look comical, like when you look back at the Christopher Reeve Superman,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't like there was no jokes, there was none of that. It was like they were like serious movies predominantly. And I feel like this one, just from everything you saw, they're introducing a lot of other characters as well. And like you saw the big alien. To me, I
Mm-hmm.
hated how I didn't like. To me, that alien looked just. I know they can't really like use practical
Yeah.
for like an alien that big, but it's like CGI. It looks
Mm-hmm.
more comic oriented, more
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy ish. And I don't know, again, because of what we're so used to seeing with Superman. I mean, it could work, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
what we're used to seeing. So it kind of, to me, Superman has always been a serious character, more serious movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like they're bringing it more to that comic book style that they had in Guardians. So I'm curious to see how that ends up playing out. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
against it, but I'm also curious if it's gonna work. I'd
Yeah.
like when I saw the dog. When I
I
saw
was
the
gonna
dog,
bring that up. Like, what'd
Crypto.
you think about crypto? Like, I was,
Uh,
I was kind of a little bit like, I don't know, but at least the dog was real. It wasn't a whole CGI dog. Like once he got close to it,
yeah.
I was like, okay, at least they.
I
I'm not
almost feel
against
like
it, but it depends how much he's in the movie. I think for me, it's like if he's like overly too much in the movie, I
I
might not. I'm not gonna like that.
I'll tell you. To me, that's like pandering in the trailer.
Yeah,
It's like trying to hit a specific audience and get them to be like,
yeah, yeah.
It's a. I don't know. I
I
didn't.
feel like it
I'm
really
not
depends on
against it.
how much screen time Crypto has. Like if he's in there, like he might. I don't want. He could overstay his welcome. Is basically what I feel, and
Correct me
it
if
could
I'm
just ruin
wrong.
it. You know.
Has he come out in any of the other movies?
No, but it's been in others like he's a character that's real in like the
No,
comics and
I
stuff like
know, but
that.
I'm saying
But
none
no,
of the movies have
none
brought
of
it.
the movies I've never seen. This will be the first time
Because I
Crypto.
feel like
Uh-huh.
if you make him appear, you lose a little bit of that seriousness, that you're going for in the movie
Yeah, yeah.
that they were going for normally. So that's why I'm
Mhm.
saying this one seems like it's gonna be a lot lighter, a lot, it's just gonna be a different Superman at the end of the day.
We'll see. I mean, I feel like Superman himself is not going to be like wisecracking jokes or anything. I think it's like maybe Jimmy
No, but
Olsen and stuff, and maybe some of the
the
characters
entire
around them.
universe surrounds it.
Maybe
Seems like it's gonna be.
we'll see because we'll see how like Lex Luthor and the villains, because even in the originals with Christopher Reeves, there was humor with Gene Hackman and his henchmen
There
and stuff
was,
like
but
that, and even
Gene,
you know
yeah,
what I mean. But so I
but
think
it didn't
I
overshadow what's going on.
yeah.
So the perfect example for me is
Uh-huh.
like when you look at the MCU and you look at the first Thor to the last Thor, like
Mhm.
the first Thor it had humor, but the progression to like it went from like darker action to just
Mhm.
more comedic action,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
I don't think
I
it's gonna be. I
personally,
don't think it's gonna be anything like that. I think it's gonna still have a pretty serious tone overall. When it and though if the humor is in there, I think it's gonna be more like when it's interactions with like characters like with Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and those type of characters. I don't think you're gonna see when the action is coming with Superman. Maybe a little bit with Crypto, and stuff like that. But I don't think it's gonna be like I think it's going to be a good balance in my opinion. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it gets very comical, and then I'm like, oh, that might not work for me.
the
But we'll
one
see.
thing that to me also makes the Superman movies a little bit difficult is like every time it's against Lex Luthor. Every time.
Yeah.
Like the
Well,
Batman ones,
yeah.
you could have him
Well,
go against different villains, and all that kind of
Well,
stuff.
like
But
I saw, like here's the other thing. I saw some other character like Mister Terrific. Like they have his look down to a T. I know he's a like a character that probably not a lot of people know. But they showed a glimpse of him in the trailer. He looked cool in my opinion. But I'm like, I I'm also kind of like I hope it's more Superman and not we don't get so many heroes throughout the whole
yeah.
story. I want it to be very focused on Superman, and I hope like Lex Luthor, but maybe there's somebody else like I don't know. I'm curious if he's actually the only villain, like really main villain. But it seems like I feel like Lex Luthor is probably going to be the main villain. Who knows? At the end of the day, as long as the story works, I don't mind. But we'll see. We'll see. Like I agree.
Here's
Like,
a
can we get someone else like Brainiac or something like that, or any of the other villains like Lobo or something? That'd be kind of cool. But I get it. They're obviously planning to make more besides this one, so we'll see.
Yeah, and here's the thing with Superman, it's basically almost a guarantee that no matter what, they're going to make money with these movies, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not going to lose money with them. Even the Superman Returns one, which arguably, since the Christopher Reeves ones, is probably what most people would consider the worst one because I don't think people were as interested at the time in it. Even that one was a box office success. I don't think they could fail with Superman, right? And people are always excited. People love Superman. So they're just going to continue to churn these out. Again, I felt when we were growing up, fucking the Christopher Reeves one were like,
I watched the shit out of that all the time. Yeah, dude, I love those. I still love those movies.
Even what was it, Superman 4 with the guy when
even though it's a terrible movie, I still enjoy that movie.
Yeah, and I feel like there is
a quest for hope, or that's what it's called.
I feel like those connections. I don't know. Maybe I'm just freaking old now.
I think one of the things about Superman Returns, why it also didn't work, it was a sequel to those Superman movies. That's why it was called Superman Returns. They even had the same. And people were kind of confused. I think because it's also different actors playing these characters. So I think it kind of, and also they weren't like older because it was taking place on the time period was not 2006 when it came out. Technically, it was like 90s, I think. So it's like because it was a sequel, from what I understand, from the Superman films with Christopher Reeves. So
it was Quest for Peace, by the way.
Quest for Peace. Quest for Peace. There you go. Yeah, that movie is,
Dude,
I like the villain in it. I like the villain in it.
That's a classic.
But it, if you're looking at it with a
when
critical eye,
when you were a kid, it didn't matter. Now that you look at it, you're like, oh man. But what was the one with Richard Pryor? That was Superman 3, right? With Richard Pryor.
Either 3 or 2. Well, I think you're right, 3. But I think it was 3. But look, at the end of the day, I hope it's done well, and this is huge for DC because this is their relaunch of the universe. So I think they're going to make a lot of money, but at the end of the day, they don't just want to make money; they want it to be critically accepted. You know what I mean? They want the audience. They want it to be not just like, oh, they want it to be like, hey, this movie is a good movie, not just a movie that's entertaining that is making money. Because Batman vs Superman made money, but it's got panned by the critics, and part of it ended up hurting the process. You know what I mean? So
I don't even think it's the critics that they're worried about. It's the audience, the general audience.
That's something. It wasn't just the critics; it was also the audience members. So they were getting a double whammy. You know what I mean?
This is honestly their opening, though, because I think a lot of people are starting to sour on the direction that Marvel has gone and the MCU.
Exactly.
So this is their opening. This is their opening to come in and do something.
That's why it's going to be. That's why it's huge. That's why it's huge. Yeah.
The ball's in their court. They're either gonna fuck this up or they're gonna score. I don't think there's a middle ground for this. It's either gonna work or it's not gonna work.
Yeah, they could definitely swing the pendulum in their way, and it can be on their court, and they can be the A side now. In movies, but it's gonna be the Superman movie it's a lot is on. First of all, I like that James Gunn is he's the manager, so it's all gonna fall on him because he's the one that's controlling the creative decisions. Like that guy Kevin Feige for Marvel, like he's that guy for DC now. But he's also making this movie, so he's setting an artistic standard to be like, this is what it's got to be to a certain level. So I like James Gunn. I hope it succeeds for sure. Well, go ahead.
Let me ask you this: when it comes to the Guardians of the Galaxy, what do you think about Guardians 3?
I'll be honest, that's the one I haven't seen. I've seen the first 2. I still need to see Guardians 3.
For me, I like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 a lot. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I didn't care for when it came out, but the more I watch it, the more it grows on me. Guardians 3, I watched it. I have not cared to see it again. I didn't think it was bad, but it did not it did not stack up to the first 2.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I don't want to say I think as far as the movie goes, it was fine. I don't know. Maybe it was just kind of like, all right, we've kind of seen like the Guardians and it's kind of starting to get played out now. When the first one came out, it was so fresh. Like compared to everything else that was out there.
Yeah, the first one is still like I haven't seen the third one, so I can't speak on. But and the second one's not bad at all. I enjoy the second one, but the first one to me is still the best one out of the Guardian. Also, it's hard. It's for me. I feel like since Superman's so iconic, his villains are so iconic. He's a hard character to play out. So people are looking forward to trilogies like Batman because Batman has so many great villains in his rogues gallery that like they're like, oh well, we want to see this villain. You know what I mean? Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of he introduced it to the mainstream audience. You know that was people weren't too familiar with them until the movies.
No, what I would like to see is Doomsday get
a proper movie in a proper way.
Yes, and properly done.
Yeah.
I feel like
it was ham-fisted in Batman vs Superman. Unfortunately, you know, it was.
Dude, the CGI I hated that shit too.
But like, also, it was just so unnecessary. Besides, just like the way they did him so kind of like, let's just put him in there and wrap it up.
If they're planning on doing multiple movies, they need to start the build up in this one and have them arrive like in the second or third one, and they just need to do it the proper way. I hated how he looked in Batman. And then Superman and all that.
I hated that. It was a weak interpretation. It just didn't earn that. It didn't earn Doomsday being in the movie. That was a problem.
You're the fucking guy. Yeah, you're the guy that killed Superman and then fucking
can't just throw in Doomsday right at the end. Like that should have been throughout the whole movie. He's fighting Doomsday and he's like, shit, this guy's like gonna kill me. Like it's getting more dangerous, and then it leads up to that climax where he dies. Anyways. Like, let's end it. The best, like, all we know is that it's going to be nearly impossible to surpass Christopher Reeves as Superman. The guy was built for that role. I don't know what to say. He just is, and not just like his look, his acting. He just embodied what you would think of Superman, and that's why his version of Superman still holds up. Whether everything else is so outdated, him as Superman never gets outdated. It would have been great to see him do a modern. Hit Christopher Reeves in our generation, young Christopher Reeves in these type of Superman movies, because that would have just, knocked it out the park even more. But I'm going to be there day one. Are you planning to see this in the theater before we wrap this up?
I might end up seeing it in theaters. Like looking at the trailer, like I'm going to watch it for sure. Theater, I don't know. It's really going to depend. Like the wife and kids want to go watch it in the movie theater.
Yeah, true.
I'll probably go. I'm probably not going to be there day one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
be crazy.
Like, yeah. I'm not built for that anymore. So I'm probably not going to do that. Yeah. But
I'll probably watch it twice. I'd say
there's a 50-50 chance that
you might check it out in the theaters.
That I'll see it in theaters. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
There you guys have it. Let us know what you think about the Superman teaser trailer that just came out. Are you guys digging the casting? All right, what do you guys think about James Gunn taking over? And is DC gonna pick up the ball and score a touchdown on this one, or are they gonna fumble it and let Marvel let Marvel continue to rule basically like
the
this
movies.
Comic universe? Yeah,
the blockbuster.
So let us know. Let us know. Let us know in the comments. Once again, I'm Nathan. This is Steven. We're 24 Chambers of Film. Until next time.